Alright, hello everyone and welcome to this archived episode of our brand new season of Korvia official webinars. These archived versions are trimmed and leave out some portions like Q&A. So if you want to experience the full webinars, please join us for our live recordings. For a schedule of our upcoming webinars, please head over to korvia.com/magazine. So please enjoy this recording of our Korvia official webinar, Private Academies, and Introduction to Hagwons.
Could you tell us a little bit about yourself? What was your major? When did you come to Korea? And what kind of a Hagwon are you teaching at now?
Okay, so I came to Korea in 2011. So this is my fourth year actually. And I graduated from Ryerson University in Toronto for communications.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm currently working at a Hagwon that has kindergarten in the morning and elementary in the afternoon, but I'm actually only teaching in the afternoons, so I just have elementary kids.
Now, Ula, your situation is a little bit special because you actually taught at a public school first, and then you changed over to Hagwons, correct?
Yeah, I taught at a public school for 2 years, and then last year I changed to a Hagwon, and then this year I changed to a new Hagwon.
Were you teaching in the EPIC program, SMOE, GEPIC? Which public school program?
GEPIC.
GEPIC, okay. And it says here, Weijongbu, correct?
Yep.
Cool. How's Weijongbu?
Weijongbu was good. It's there's not as many things to do there as in Seoul, but it was a nice environment and literally one of the best job experiences I've ever had.
Cool. Yeah, just an interesting fact for our listening audience. Weijongbu was where the TV show MASH was supposed to take place during the Korean War. So anyways, just a little fun fact for you guys. All right, thank you, Ula. And now we're going to talk to Natalie Weaver. Natalie, can you hear me? Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, Natalie, how are you today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Now, Natalie, is it true that you ran from work just to attend this webinar? You're sweating now because you just had to jet here. Is that true? You just got out of work?
I did. I just got out of work about 30 minutes ago.
Okay. Well, thank you, Natalie, for joining us. Natalie, could you give us a little introduction about yourself? Where are you from? What did you major in? And how long have you been in Korea?
Okay. Well, I came to 3 months ago, so I'm fairly new here still.
Okay.
I am from the United States, the state of Louisiana, and I majored in actually theater when I was in college.
Oh, okay. Have you found that that major theater is helping you in Korea? Are you doing any acting with students, or are you doing anything like that?
It helps a lot with confidence when you're not feeling confident and being really comfortable with something changing in the middle of a lesson. So I'm very comfortable with, new things coming up in class or anything like that.
That's a good point because we do have a lot of other applicants they come from theater or kind of that like performance-oriented stuff. So I think that's a great tips for them. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. So now if you could unmute the rest of the parties, we're gonna get right into it. We don't have a lot of time, to be honest. We gotta let these guys go. They gotta eat. So we're gonna get into it. We've already defined what a Hagwon is, and so I want to ask you guys, have an open discussion about the pre-notions. What did you hear about Hagwons before versus how were they when you actually arrived and started working and now are a couple months in? So let's start this off with Ula. Ula, what did you hear about Hagwons like before you joined one?
It was actually like a nightmare story from all of my friends who had worked at Hagwons. It was like you're not going to get paid on time, you're going to have to work all these extra hours and not be paid for them, you're not going to have vacations, and you're going to have to do a lot of prep.
Okay. Natalie, what did you hear? What kind of things did you hear?
I heard a lot of the same things, actually. I met somebody in Louisiana who had just come back from Korea because of such bad working conditions. So I was really, really nervous about even interviewing for them in the beginning of this process.
Okay, so now I want to ask you guys what turned out to be true, what did not turn out to be true in your case, and do you have any general like things you want to say about it? So Eula, like what did anything you hear turn out to be true in your case, or was it all true, or what was going on there?
Well, for me, it's actually a little interesting because I've worked in two different Hagwons. So in my first Hagwon, literally every nightmare came true.
Oh yeah, what nightmare came true?
Basically, we were expected to work overtime all the time without pay, and they were just really micromanaging. They watched everything that we did. They even watched us on CCTV, had us watch our own CCTV.
Hmm.
Sometimes we weren't paid on time or we were missing money from our paychecks.
I see.
And
So
yeah, it was just a lot of bad things.
all right, so then the second Hagwon you're at, was it a little bit the same, or what happened there?
No, the funny thing is, this second Hagwon is completely amazing. I don't think there's a single thing that I could complain about it. The managers are amazing. They all speak fluent English and they really take care of us. They thank us for doing anything and they apologize if we have to stay even 10 minutes late.
Uh-huh.
Paychecks are usually always on time. But the only thing
So
is,
yeah.
I think with a Hagwon and public school is the pay days will not be as exact.
Ah, okay. So you might get paid a couple days late, or it just is never exactly this day, like it was in public
Yeah.
school. I
If
see.
it
Okay.
falls on a public holiday or something, you're probably going to get it after that holiday or after the weekend.
Mhm. Ah, okay, I see. Natalie, what has been your experience at your school? I know obviously you're very new to Korea, but you did have that experience where you were talking to someone who had a negative experience. How's been your experience this far?
Actually, mine's been pretty amazing. I I have only good things to say about my school. I'm so glad I actually took this interview and the job.
Mm, okay.
It's
So
been pretty awesome.
I mean, what things you kind of said things like, oh yeah, they always thank us or they usually pay us on time. Like what things do you really like at your Hagwon or stick out to you
Um,
that you're thankful for, I guess?
so all of the again, like with my classes, all of the teachers here at my school speak English fluently, even like our co-teachers in the preschool where I work.
Okay.
All of the English is ab perfect for me. I don't have any kind of communication issues. With my school, it's a little different with the holidays and things. We always get paid before them. So we get paid on a
Mm,
specific day every month, and then we're
mhm.
paid before if it ever happens that it falls on a holiday. So we're always paid
Ah,
on time. We have no issues with that. They actually started serving us breakfast because they didn't want
huh.
us going into the day hungry. So
Oh
they
wow.
breakfast at my school. We get there a little early. We can go get breakfast before we start our day.
Now, are we talking about they're providing a traditional Korean breakfast, or are they picking up McDonald's Egg McMuffins for you guys? That's gotta be clearing that 'cause I'm very hungry right now, and I'm thinking about joining a Hagwon.
Um, well, it's kind of basic. We have cereal and milk. We have they'll do bagels and toast for us. They do
Right.
uh, make fried eggs for us, scrambled eggs, things
Wow.
like that. Some days they bring in like fresh fruit, so we'll have apples or oranges some days. Just kind of
Wow.
depends on the day. It differs a little.
That sounds great. Yeah, and I also want to ask you guys before I forget, Eula, you're in Seoul, correct? Your Hagwon's in
Yep.
Seoul?
Yeah,
And then
West Seoul.
Natalie, your Hagwon is also in Seoul, correct?
It is. I'm over on the east side.
Ah, okay. So we're in Seoul, but just different parts of Seoul. Yeah, we just got to remind the people that are listening. A big difference between, I think, public schools and Hagwons is public schools recently have kind of the funding has gone to their outer regions or the more rural areas, whereas Hagwons, they're usually concentrated in downtown areas or very urban areas of cities or of Seoul. So we just want people to be aware of that thing. I think Eula, you're a living testimony of that. When we were talking about Wheatjungbu, you're like, yeah, it's up there. And now I think you are in one of where are you in Seoul again?
I live near Itaewon.
Near Itaewon. Okay, so great, great. Okay, all right. So now I want to talk to you guys about students. What are the students like? What are their ages and their levels? So just to run through it again, Eula, you are teaching, was it kindergarten through middle school?
Where, here, now, or before?
Here now.
I'm doing only the elementary school kids, so only grade 2 and 3.
Grades 2 and 3. And what about you, Natalie? What grades are you teaching?
I teach pre-K 5-year-olds, so Korean 5, which is Western 3 and 4. And then I
Okay.
teach first, second, and third grade after school a few days a week.
Okay, so a little bit wider of a range. How would you describe their level? I guess, Eula, we'll start with you. Your students compared to public school, are they more advanced than you thought, or less advanced, or you feel like you need to help them catch up? Or what about that?
Well, I think, again, for me, it's kind of different for other teachers maybe because I work in the Mokdong area, which is known by everyone as being like the most crazy moms for making sure that their kids can speak English.
Okay.
So I actually teach one of the lower level classes, but they are basically fluent. They can speak to me in English and they can read almost perfectly. The only things I really work on with them is perfecting their grammar and just kind of building confidence in speaking.
Wait, so you're saying that you teach what, grades 2 to 3, and you can have at least a small conversation with them?
Yeah, I speak fully in English and I just speak like this speed that I'm speaking to you right now.
Wow, that's crazy because coming from a public school background, public school teaching background, I think grades 2 to 3, I think third grade is the first year they start learning English and they say sentences like "I'm Bill" or like
It's a huge difference.
Wow, Natalie, are you having the same kind of experience? I mean, you're teaching kind of kindergarten level. Like, what is their level? Are you able to have little conversations with them? Are they able to speak any English or things like that?
With my kindergartners, it's their first year in school, so they came in with I think that some of them could say hello.
Mm-hmm.
But just last week I was actually fixing a toy for one of the
Mm-hmm.
kids, and one of the other little boys in my class comes running up to me and just goes, "Miss Natalie, good job," and then runs off. So they're starting
So,
to actually use the English in the classroom and outside of the classroom. Their parents come in with stories about how they're going home and trying to have conversations in English now.
wait, I just gotta be clear. What did you do? You were cleaning a toy, and that's why he said good job, or was this for something else?
I was putting it back together. They had broken it. So I was trying to put the
Okay.
pieces together.
Well, in that case, I agree. Good job, Natalie. All right, and my last question regarding students type is, were they enthusiastic to be there? Were they excited, or were they kind of dulled and drained? Usually Hagwons, for the most cases, are after-school programs. The kids are going through a full day of school and then going to another class. So let's start with let's reverse it. So Natalie, I mean, are your students, are they happy to be there, or would they rather be somewhere else?
My school is actually more like a private school instead of an after school. So this is
Okay.
their school. They come in the morning
Okay.
and stay with us till 3. So this is
Do they
their
like
actual.
English class?
They do. My youngest ones are really excited anytime they have a chance to use their English. Um,
Oh,
and then my older kids, I teach after school, so they're done with the hard learning, and we just have I teach art class, so
okay.
we get to draw pictures, and they seem really happy to be there and have fun.
Eula, what about your situation? Are they enthusiastic to be there, or would they rather be somewhere else, do you think?
I think it depends on the day, but I can tell that by the time they show up, they're already sort of tired.
Hmm.
But they're into it and they have fun and everything because I do try to incorporate some games. But I can tell that they're very worn out because my school is a lot of textbook based and
Uh-huh.
I have to get through the pages. So I do feel sorry for them sometimes, but I have to do it.
I see, I see. Well, thank you for transitioning in because the next thing we're going to talk about is actually the curriculum and the lesson plan. So we just kind of want to know, like, how do you teach students at a Hagwon? How is it different from public school? That would be more for you to answer. But, do they provide materials or do you have to make materials yourself? So, Yula, how would you rate Hagwon curriculum? You've seen both public and Hagwon curriculum, so what would you say is different about it?
It's totally different. When I was doing public school, each student had just one textbook, and we would basically spend all year working on that one textbook. And the teacher's job is to just make a lot of supplementary games and activities to help them get through that textbook. So we moved really slowly. But now in my second Hagwon this year, they have like 10 books each,
Oh,
and we
wow.
have to go through all those books within about one term, which is about 3 to 4 months.
Mhm.
So for me, it's just book after book after book after book in the classes. Like I don't really ever have time to do anything else with them. So actually, it's really easy for the teachers because we have almost no prep.
Oh, wow. Natalie, are you using multiple books as well, or are you just sticking to one book?
With my level, we are not sticking with a book. We are kind of creating our own. We're doing we go with kind of a basis of what the whole preschool is doing,
Hmm.
and then we work off of the curriculums. The school works off the curriculums for the international school systems. So
Oh,
I don't
okay.
see much of the international curriculums for the older kids, but for the preschool, we come in and then we make our weekly plans and our daily plans, and
Okay.
we're kind of given a lot of freedom and creativity with that.
So are you making more like kind of game activities, or are you really just focusing, they want you to focus more on routines and stuff like that?
We kind of change it up. A lot of what I do is kind of the games. We turn
Mhm.
everything into games. We'll turn math class into games for my preschoolers, and then
Mhm.
we'll go into a game with our flashcards for language arts or things like that. So it kind of depends, but most of it actually gets turned into a game.
Nice. Sounds like sounds fun. So Natalie, can I just clarify, you're teaching other subjects, not just English, but you're teaching them in English? You're teaching math in English?
Yes. We're teaching actually we have like a whole spectrum. We do cooking class, we do science class. It's run like an English speaking preschool. So we're
Oh,
kind
I
of
see.
doing a lot of different things throughout the day because I have my kindergartners from 9 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. So we fill up that time
I
with a bunch
see.
of different.
So Eula, then you're at a mainly a language Hagwon, correct?
Yeah, but I think if I was to work in the morning at my school, it would be similar to Natalie's because they also are there from about 9 to 2 or 9 to 3, and they do math, they do science, they do art, everything in English.
Ah, okay. I see. All right. Let's move on then. Let's talk about classroom management. So in this section, we just kind of want to ask about, general tips and how you tend to interact with the students. So, can I just ask, Yulo, what is the average class size per class? How many students do you have usually?
I only have 4 in one class and 3 in the other, but I'm the lucky one. All the other teachers have at least 7 or 8, but usually closer to 9 or 10.
At least 7 or 8. Interesting. I think that's another big difference between public school and private is public.
Yeah.
There's really usually a funding issue. They're like, we got to get 40, there's 40 students in this class, we got to get them to learn at the same rate. Whereas I think Hagwons, the parents, they really value these smaller class sizes and the more hands-on with
hmm
the approach, I guess. That's very interesting. Natalie, how big are your classes usually?
My kindergarten class is 11, and then but
Okay.
I think it can go up to about 15. Usually 10 to 15 is our class sizes.
Okay. Do you do you guys feel that this is, a good amount, or you wish it was more, you wish it was less? Natalie, you kind of have the larger classes, so do you think 11's a good number, or would you want more students, or do you think there should be less?
Um, I really like my class size. With less, it's definitely like easier to handle because 11 3 and 4-year-olds is kind of overwhelming sometimes. But I actually think 11 works really great. It's a good number for our games and things like that.
Okay. Eula, it sounds like you're saying three students. Sounds very low to me, almost like they're your siblings. So how does that work out for you? Do you like the three students kind of classes, or you wish it was more, or like God forbid less?
Um, well, for my school and the way that my after-school classes are run, it actually makes sense to have fewer students because I have to sit down with them and explain every grammar term and kind of look over their shoulders constantly. So if I have more than 5 or 6, I would be not able to do it by myself because I don't have a co-teacher, by the way. I'm by myself.
Okay. Oh, I see. Natalie, do you have a co-teacher?
I do, yes. I have a co-teacher.
Okay. Is it just one co-teacher, or do you work with multiple ones?
I work with only one co-teacher, but we're all really close in the kindergarten, so I know and can go talk to or ask questions of any of the co-teachers.
I see. Okay. And another question related to kind of not necessarily classroom management, but just kind of management is, do your schools want you to participate in any other activities? I was blown away. We visited at Korvia, we visit Hagwons to check out for quality and see, which ones we can recommend highly. And I saw this blew my mind is that there was like a gym or like a jungle gym kind of area where kids could play and do recreational activities inside this Hagwon. Like there was like this wide open space where they could do like literally like physical activities. I'm wondering, is there anything like that at your guys' schools? Or Natalie, you said cooking. Is there anything else, Natalie, that you do at your school that's kind of just, outside of math and English? Any
Um,
activities?
my kids go to like gym class, and so we'll be teachers. We'll assist the gym teacher and things like that. But it's kind of like we usually stay in our classroom or at the playground areas.
Oh, okay. And Eula, do you do anything outside of just teaching grammar and things like that?
Well, at my last Hagwon, we actually had an amazing private garden. So I could actually teach English outside and I could use the yard however I wanted. That was probably the only good thing about that place.
Okay.
But in my current Hagwon, we also do have a rather well-sized gym area, and we're allowed to take the kids there for them to sort of have a break between like classes and as a sort of reward if they did a good job. So we get to have like gym time and play games with them.
Okay. Gotcha. All right, and we're coming to one of the last sections, which is titled "Working with Other Foreigner Teachers." Um, can I just get an example, Natalie? How many other foreign teachers are at your school?
I have roughly probably 20 working with me.
Wow, 20. Are they all from different countries, or are they all from the United States, Canada, or?
Most of them are from United States, Canada. Most of them.
Oh, okay. Okay. I see. And Eula, what about you? 20. Can you beat that? That's a lot.
I think I have around 10, including myself. But we also have a lot of like Kyopo teachers, so I don't really know what they count as.
Just to be clear, yeah, a Kyopo is a Korean that grew up overseas, so Korean American, Korean Canadian, Korean New Zealander. So that's what Eula means. Interesting. Do you feel that, are they supportive? Do you guys all like recreate together, or how does that work? Do you guys have your own offices? Eula, do you share an office with these other 10 teachers, 9 teachers?
No, everybody has their own room, but because I'm an afternoon teacher, when I come in, there's sort of an overlap time where I have to share my classroom with the morning teacher, but that's about it.
Okay. Okay. So how many teachers do you usually see, since you said you're the afternoon kind of portion? Do you see a lot of these teachers often, or do you kind of rarely see them?
Oh, I see them every day because they work mornings and afternoons. I'm the only one along with another teacher that works only afternoons.
Okay, I see. And now the same case, do you see these other 20 individuals often, or are you guys kind of separated either by buildings or by time?
Um, we see a lot of them just kind of in passing. Mostly I see the other 8 kindergarten teachers, and then
Okay.
the like the gym teacher and the music teacher. We'll see them, and then
Okay.
passing in the hallways, I'll see the ones on the upper floors.
Oh, I see. Now, Eula, unfortunately, this next question is kind of going to exclude you because it's you worked at a public school first. But Natalie, you being so new to Korea, 3 months, correct?
That's right.
Wow. I think, I was still jet lagged after 3 months. But Natalie, would you say that having other foreign teachers made it, you think, easier to assimilate into Korea, or were you just fine and dandy by yourself?
Oh, it's definitely made everything easier. My school's really great. Like if I have questions about things, I can go to any of the office staff. But having like other foreign teachers who actually live in the same building as a couple of them, so it's really easy to go knock on doors and ask questions. Or they actually, my first week here, I was really jet lagged and tried to stay inside, go to sleep
Mhm.
after work, and
Yeah.
they would take me out to dinner so that I would meet people and I guess get my sleep schedule on the right track.
Well, that's
But it's
good.
been
I see. Eula, I mean, coming from a public school background and knowing firsthand what it's like to kind of assimilate into Korea, I think at probably your first public school, you're the only teacher, correct?
Yep.
Only foreign teacher, right? So coming to Hagwon, do you like it? Do you like having other foreign teachers around as support, or do you prefer the kind of being the only star at the school, the only foreigner at the school?
I mean, in my public school, I became really, really close with my co-teachers, so it was okay for me. But I can definitely see how for other foreigners who might have a not so nice co-teacher, they might feel really lonely because there's nobody around to talk to.
Right.
But in my current school, it's a little different too because all of the other teachers have actually been working for this company for at least 4, 5, 6 years.
Hmm.
So me and the other new teacher coming in, like they're really nice to us and everything, but everyone has their own lives, so we never hang out.
Ah, I see. Okay. So it is still a little bit, can be clicky, I guess, depending on how long they've known each other and things like that.
Well, they don't hang out with each other either because they've been in Korea for so long that they kind of have their own lives already.
Okay, I see. I see. Well, I'm great. Really, I think, that's all the sections we have. We just want to kind of reiterate, as you can tell by this conversation that's been going on, is that every Hagwon experience seems to be a little bit different. As you can tell, Eula teaches mainly grades, lower grades, whereas Natalie teaches the lowest grades, pre-K and kindergarten, which is as low as you can go. So they seem to have very different types of schools, as well as different kinds of lesson plans and things like that. So we kind of want to reiterate that how different the Hagwon experience can be, as well as Eula said also that she had the Hagwon she taught out before was not the most ideal Hagwon that she would have preferred to work at, whereas now Eula, you seem pretty happy, correct?
I'm very happy.
Right. See, so I think that's the kind of the one thing to take away is that you can do all the research and you can get all the stories, but it's really going to depend on the Hagwon that you land at. No one's for sure going to know how the whole entire year is going to pan out.